time we reached dessert, everyone was already tired. The meeting had started as it always did, under the pretense of celebrating something small. A birthday that had passed weeks ago, a cousin's new car, engagement no one seemed especially excited about. We gathered around my aunt's long dining table, polished to a dull shine, pretended we weren't there to measure one another. I took my usual seat, near the end. Close enough to be included, far enough to be ignored. My uncle Rashid sat near the center, leaning back in his chair like a man who had never questioned his place in any room. He spoke often, loudly, and with confidence that came from being listened to for decades. Owned 2 rental buildings and reminded everyone of this at least once per gathering. In his mind, made him an authority on success. Across from him, my mother folded napkins into neat triangles. My cousins scrolled through their phones. Someone refilled tea. No one asked me about work. They rarely did. Wasn't that they thought I was unemployed. They knew I had something in business. That vague phrase had followed me for years, like a shadow, something online, something with computers, something temporary, probably. I never corrected them. At first, I had tried. Early on, I explained. I showed numbers. I talked about clients and growth, about long nights and contracts, about risks and loans and mistakes. They nodded politely and forgot. Over time, learned that repeating myself only made me sound defensive. So I stopped. I focused on building quietly. That night, Rashid had already been talking for a while. About inflation, about young people being unrealistic, how real work required physical presence. He gestured with his spoon. These days, everyone thinks they're an entrepreneur, he said. Laptop, coffee shop, Instagram quotes, no foundation. A few people chuckled, eating. He turned slightly toward me. Not fully. Just enough. Some people. He continued. Spend years busy and still achieve nothing. The word nothing landed softly, like dust. Then he looked at me properly. You've achieved nothing in life, he said, casually. No house, no family, no position, just floating. Silence followed, but not the dramatic kind. More like discomfort that no one rushed to fix. My aunt smiled weakly. Someone cleared their throat. The familiar tightening in my chest, not sharp, not new. It was old muscle memory, like bracing before cold water. For a moment, considered laughing it off. I had done that before. I had nodded before. I had changed the subject before. Instead, a sip of water. It tasted metallic. I noticed small things, the crack in Rashid's teacup, the hum of the refrigerator, the way my phone lay face down beside my plate. I had silenced it deliberately. My assistant knew where I was. She knew the meeting time. She knew today mattered. Still, I hadn't planned anything. I hadn't imagined this moment. I didn't want it. Part of me wished she would be late. Rashid leaned back, satisfied. Anyway, he said, people need direction. Discipline. Otherwise, passes. My mother's eyes flicked toward me, apologetic. She didn't speak. She never did. Then footsteps sounded in the hallway, purposeful. The door opened. Amina stood there, slightly out of breath, blazer still on, tablet in hand. Sorry to interrupt, she said. Her voice was calm, but urgent. Madam, the acquisition is complete. The board just finalized it. Legal confirmed. Every head turned. I didn't move. She stepped closer. The shares transferred an hour ago. You now hold controlling interest. The announcement goes public in the morning. For a second, no one reacted. Took time for the words to arrange themselves in the room. Acquisition. Board. Controlling interest. Public. Rashid frowned. What acquisition? Amina glanced at him politely, then back to me. The Malik Group purchase, their logistics division and subsidiaries. Someone whispered, That's their company.
Yes.
It was. Rashid's company, the one he bragged about every year, the one he had inherited and barely modernized, the one my firm had been quietly negotiating with for 6 months. He stared at me. You bought. I placed my fork down. Acquired a majority stake, I said. My voice sounded strange to me. Steady, almost distant. Your partners agreed. The vote passed. No triumph, no smile, just facts. But, without telling, he stopped. His face reddened, then paled. You're the CEO. Nodded gently. She has been for 4 years, sir. 4 years. The room shifted. Not dramatically. No gasps, no applause. Just small movements. Chairs adjusting. People sitting straighter. Eyes recalibrating. My cousin put his phone down, pressed her lips together. My mother inhaled slowly. Rashid opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. This is inappropriate, he said weakly. Family should. Everything was handled through legal channels. I replied, Your advisors were involved. He looked around for support. None came. Someone asked softly, Does this mean? Yes, I said. Operations will remain stable. Staff won't be affected. Business, not personal. That was important to me. Silence returned. Ere now, Rashid stared at his hands. No one laughed. No one defended him. I didn't say anything else. There was nothing to add. Dessert went untouched. People made excuses soon after. Early mornings, long drives, headaches, hugs were awkward. My mother held me longer than usual. You never told me, she whispered. I didn't want it to change how you saw me, I said. She nodded, though I wasn't sure she understood. Outside, the night air was cool. Amina waited by the car. Sorry for bursting in, she said. Lawyers insisted. It was fine, I replied. She hesitated. Are you okay? I considered the question. I think so, I said. On the drive home, the city lights blurred past. My phone filled with delayed messages. Congratulations, shock, confusion. Ignored them for a while. Instead, I thought about younger versions of myself, sitting quietly, smiling politely, explaining, being forgotten. Tonight hadn't healed that. It hadn't erased anything. It had only changed the language people used. Respect had arrived. Understanding hadn't. I didn't feel victorious. I felt settled. A long argument had finally ended without anyone admitting they were wrong. At home, took off my shoes and sat on the edge of the bed. Tomorrow would be busy. Press, meetings, integration plans, real work. Allowed myself one small breath, not for revenge, not for recognition, for endurance. I had survived being underestimated. I was still here.